this is a subject I'm not used to addressing, it might turn into a bit of a rant. I contend that the world of Android is in a mess, or crisis even. You see, my main sim has been on the Apple iPhone 11 Pro shooting this for the last fortnight, and this is despite the brand new Google Pixel 4 XL being here for review. Don't worry, by the way, talking about the iPhone, I've got a spare, a dummy 11 Pro Max to wave around by way of illustration. That I've had so many positive comments about video and audio quality for the iPhone 11 Pro speaks volumes. I suspect it'll be the phone I shoot on for quite some time. But it's not just video it's so good at. Stills from wide angle to 2x zoom, also excellent. Its speakers are punchy and effective. The screen's lovely, and the Face ID, now in its 3rd generation, works instantly, and it works with loads of apps. Remember that, it'll become apparent why in a moment. So yes, Steve Litchfield using an iPhone day to day. Who'd have thought that? In part, this is because of Apple's huge steps up in camera, battery and speakers, but it's also because I'm fed up with the way the Android world is going. Now, don't get me wrong, my beloved Galaxy S9 Plus still works superbly. I can switch my main SIM into it at a moment's notice with no disruption to my life, but it and the Note 9 were arguably the last satisfactory flagships in the Android world, I contend. And they're both over a year old now. Since then, we've had, well, let's see, the Huawei P30 Pro here with its top-end camera components ruined, in my opinion, by overzealous image processing and artifacts galore. And don't get me started on the whole Huawei, Google, Donald Trump saga going forward. And the Pixel 3 XL here with crazily big notch and equally crazy launch price for what was a relatively mid-spec handset. Yes, there have been loads of mid-priced handsets, those by Nokia and Xiaomi and Motorola. Well, this is the G7 Plus, spot my aftermarket Qi charging mod. Terrific value for money, but not offering the best components for connoisseurs like me and hopefully you. Why make do with LCD screens and mono speakers and underwhelming cameras when you can have more in your pocket? There have been some relative success stories in the geek world, at least, with OnePlus's new 7T worth checking out. Watch this space for a dive from me into OnePlus land. Most top-end Android handsets have now switched to in-screen fingerprint sensors with frustrating results, as you'll know. Inconsistent recognition, security worries, and more. Why? Why? Capacitive scanners work just fine. So Google knows this, and they aped the iPhone X onwards by going down the Face ID route with infrared contour scanning for its new Google Pixel 4 XL here. Supposed to be the best of Google, the pinnacle of where it wants to take Android. And it is in many ways, super fast and smooth. A 90Hz display. Now don't worry about the hoo-ha about it dropping frame rate on lower brightness. It's supposed to, that's how the tech works. Plus, you'll be running at high brightness most of the time anyway, as the overall display here is dimmer than the iPhone, dimmer than OnePlus, and dimmer than Samsung's panels, maybe by Google's design. The 6 gig of RAM means that applications at last stay in RAM on a Pixel, and the camera is exceptional with genuine 5 times lossless hybrid zoom that can be relied on, as seen in the shots here. Amazing! Even the stereo speakers have been upgraded with better bass, better top end, more volume, just immense. Here's a demo. Full volume. For the Pink Floyd remix. Pink Floyd remix for 2019. It's pretty darn loud. Now storage is 64 gigabyte or 128 gigabyte, which is a bit stingy really. There's no micro SD of course. But then this is 2019 and most of, even my media lives in the cloud and gets streamed. It's enough. Now what of the price? The 128 gigabyte Pixel 4 XL is over £900, which is insane. It's not as if Google can pull an apple and point to its network of stores in every town for support and repair. There's the new Soli radar transmitter and sensor in the forehead. This enables slightly faster face recognition, plus a range of gimmicky control gestures that sometimes do what you want and at other times do things you didn't want, like changing music tracks just because you reached up to adjust your glasses. Gimmicky, but may be useful if enough developers do more interesting things with it. I turned motion sense off after a few hours. It's unnecessary battery drain. Talking of which, the battery life of the Pixel 4 series has been much criticised. That said, the XL is actually fine, easily getting through a day with the aforementioned motion sense disabled for me, and the smaller Pixel 4 series will be fine after a few updates, I predict. But But I can forgive any shortcomings if the basics work on a smartphone and if they work well. After all, this is a Pixel. I'm expecting minimal bloat and maximum application compatibility. It's the iPhone of the Android world, as it were, so everything should just work. And it doesn't. And this is why I'm fed up. The Pixel 4 series has been on sale for a week and a half now, plus developers have had a 6-month beta period to get their applications ready, and they haven't. While not strictly Google's fault, how could they launch a flagship with a biometric authentication system that doesn't work with almost all banking and security applications in their ecosystem? Almost any app that needs biometric authentication does not work with the Pixel 4 XL right now. So I launched my favourite KeyPass to Android utility and no fingerprint hardware found in the settings. I launch my Lloyds Bank app and again I'm prompted for a PIN or password characters. It can't find the fingerprint hardware, which is unsurprising as there isn't one. It's now a face recognition system that developers seemingly don't know about. Now, as I understand it, in the iOS world, Apple has made sure that their Face ID worked from day one with existing Touch ID APIs, so that existing software would carry on working. After all, it's just a matter of checking who you are. Google's put in a new API for the Pixel 4 series working under a new version of its developer SDK, and it will take months before most of the software that you and I want to work with the Face ID system actually does. Leaving me with half a review and an absolute determination that the Pixel 4 XL and the 4 can't be recommended yet. So let's agree to reconvene in 3 months with updates from Google and hopefully many updates from third parties, all bringing the Pixel 4 XL to life for real. In the meantime, despite my relative disdain for some of iOS's restrictions, I find myself an iPhone user. Apple did almost everything right in the 11 Pro. I mean, Type-C would have been the icing on the cake, but oh well. And as a result, they're getting serious traction from yours truly and probably from others in the geek and tech market.